The Manhattan Project. In World War II, under constant pressure from the threat of Germany dominating the world, the Manhattan Project was created, a government-controlled project that began in 1942 and ended in 1946. This project furthered many scientific discoveries and developed the atomic energy program. Under direction from a military leader, Colonel Leslie Groves, and leading scientist, Dr. J. Robert Oppenheimer, Project Y was created. Project Y was a brand new central laboratory for weapon design and research in Los Alamos, New Mexico. Hundreds of employees secretly worked on this project, although many did not understand what they were creating. As the war continued, focus shifted from Germany to Japan. At President Franklin D. Roosevelt's death, Harry S. Truman took the lead. At his command, on August 6, 1945, a little boy was dropped on Hiroshima, Japan. Only 3 days later, after Japan's lack of surrender, Fat Man was unloaded on Nagasaki, Japan, slightly off target. This war had a huge impact on the entire planet, as well as on the situation within the United States. To put this simply, there are multiple causes and effects. The more immediate effects were gruesome. In Hiroshima alone, the results were staggering. Some 90,000 to 166,000 people were killed with that single bomb. Nearly half of these reported deaths were individuals destroyed on the first day of the bombing, and the rest slowly died due to radiation poisoning. This sickness caused their bones to lose their ability to produce marrow, caused severe burns, and even produced a strange effect under the skin called a keloid, or a strange, inflamed scar left from burns. Loss of hair was also common, and it was even taken as a sign that your life was going to soon come to an end. Another effect of this bomb's radiation was more long-term. Many Japanese women produced stillborn children, and if they did survive, they were disfigured or mentally challenged. As you can imagine, Mother Nature was also very upset at this destruction. Black rain was present anywhere from the hypercenter to the northwest. It was oily, sticky, and just plain disgusting. Along with being quite revolting, this mucky rain had traces of radioactivity, so many people who would have not otherwise been affected were soon ill. Traces of radiation tend to remain in one place for around 2 weeks. However, this is not a commonly known fact, so many reporters and relief volunteers were stricken with the disease. After Japan's surrender, World War II was finally over. Japan was then occupied by U.S. troops, and the rest of the world rejoiced. Within the United States, a deep, burning hatred for the Japanese had been festering for years. Japanese atrocities reached many ears, from war veterans and articles published in magazines. It became so bad that one poll stated that 1 in 10 Americans were not averse to complete Japanese extinction. The press fueled this by censoring images and presenting the events in a way that made Americans seem victorious and all-powerful. Not only were Japanese affected by the bombings, exchange students, prisoner of wars, Japanese Americans, and laborers were also killed or seriously injured. Press censorship restricted these victims from receiving the health benefits and recognition for their loss. A final, long-lasting effect of the Manhattan Project was the arms race between the U.S. and Russia. Shortly after our success, we discovered that the Soviet Union had created their own atomic bomb and that it worked too. Of course, us being the advanced nation we are, we had to make a bomb better than theirs, so we created the hydrogen bomb. This process ended around 1970 or 1980, but a different form of this arms race continues to this day. The Manhattan Project only barely catches me under its shadow. I can read it, study it, try to comprehend it, but being so young, I never received the full impact of this event in our history. I am not a primary source, or a well-versed scholar, but I cannot help but feel that we have both benefited and been injured by this decision. Experts say that had we launched an invasion of Japan, 1 million lives would be lost. One deciding factor was the result of the Soviet Union's implied promise. If they helped us defeat Japan, then they wanted land. The idea of Russia gaining more land, or power, could have had catastrophic results. They already had too much, and if the war did not end when it did, we could very well be in a different kind of world right now. Despite the impending threat from the Soviets, we cannot ignore the many innocent lives lost in the bombings, and the scar left upon American history forever. Many countries that were previously not our enemies now hate us, and I do not know if this action could ever be labeled humane. Which is better, to end a war that has lasted many years, or to throw aside old traditions and use an effective but cruel way to solve our problems? Apparently, we have decided. Now, we just must carry on and hope that we were right.